What is up, guys? I want to talk to you about something very exciting, something that we've been waiting to see for quite a while. A lot of people thought it was actually fake, but now we're actually seeing it, and it is very exciting. In case you didn't know, at Gamescom they showed Crackdown 3, and Crackdown 3 is different from any other game at this point because it is actually taking huge advantage of cloud computing. The developers for Crackdown 3 have actually stated that the cloud computing makes the Xbox One 20 times more powerful than just the console itself. Now, to give you an example of what they're using that power for, every single building in Crackdown 3, all the skyscrapers, everything, it's in like a city setting, every single one has an interior, and every single building and everything in the map is completely destructible. And when it comes to destruction, every brick, every shard of glass is accounted for when the buildings come down and how it affects the environment around it. Now, we will actually be able to see very clearly what difference cloud computing makes, because in the single player version of the Crackdown 3, it will not be using cloud computing, which means you won't get the full destructible environments. Now, there's a couple reasons that they did it like this, but the main reason that they gave was because it would essentially mess with the story too much if you could destroy the entire map that you're playing on. And not only that, but they did not want to make part of the game unplayable unless you were connected to the internet, whereas if you're playing online multiplayer, obviously you are connected to the internet at all times. Now, if you guys don't think that this is a big deal, I'm going to use last generation as an example and explain why this is huge. The last generation of consoles was very long. In fact, it lasted almost 10 years. And even at the end of those 10 years, a lot of people were still happy with their consoles. Developers were getting a lot of power out of these very outdated sets of hardware, and people were actually happy with the experiences they were getting even at the end of the console generation, and enough even into this generation. A lot of people are still using their PlayStation 3s and Xbox 360s. Now, if you think about jumping from last generation to this generation, one of the biggest draws is the fact that the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 have a lot better processing power, and therefore the graphics look a lot better. And it is true that the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 do have more features, but that seems to be a very low priority when it comes to whether or not people upgrade to the next generation consoles. So it's pretty safe to say that most people upgrade to a newer generation of consoles in order to get better graphics. Now, imagine if the Xbox 360 was capable of cloud computing like the Xbox One is, and imagine if developers were able to make a system 20 times more powerful when they use the cloud computing. That would result in games looking even better than current Xbox One games that are not taking advantage of cloud computing. And if one of the biggest draws for a new console is better graphics, that would have drastically changed the way sales went in the last couple years of that generation. Now, I'm using last generation as an example because we are way too early in this generation to really see how this could affect it. But by looking at the last generation and how the games looked near the end, they were pretty similar between the two consoles, between the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. And that is one of the reasons why this is such a big deal. At the end of this generation, Xbox One games could look 20 times better than the games on the PlayStation 4. Yes, the PlayStation 4 may be slightly more powerful at this point, however, cloud computing changes everything, and it actually makes the Xbox One the most powerful console ever made. So those are the facts. The Xbox One has literally unlimited potential at this point. So again, it is way too early to call the winner of this console generation because we still haven't seen a lot of the tricks that the Xbox One has up its sleeves. But that is it for me. If you guys enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.